Welcome back to the Space Miata channel. It's been a while. This build has taken longer than expected and has a few interesting turns in it. So come along as I rebuild the head and get ready for the interesting part at the end.
So here I'm just adding some valve lapping compound and using a little suction cup stick here and lapping it in. This head was pretty new and pretty clean, so I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that the surfaces were going to align well and keep everything under compression. So when you do a coolant block off in a reroute, you're going to have to end up putting a brass freeze plug in there. And I found out that the Dorman 565-100 is a perfect fit for it. So we'll go ahead and we'll slap that in there. Once you've had this driven in flush, you can go and make your own coolant block off plate, or you can go to NAPP Motorsports and buy one, or Fab 9 Tuning. They will provide the freeze plug for that. But if you already have it, this is a great way to do it. Also, if you're doing the coolant reroute, you'll need the reroute fitting for the back instead of at the cap off that is here. Also, your thermostat will also fit back here as well too. Make sure to put your breather for that thermostat to the top, and you'll need to apply some gasket sealer onto this as well. Do not remember the name of the company that made this specific one, but Fab 9 Tuning has their own kit. This is also a welded on 16-AN fitting, so that way I can run all my braided stainless steel hoses. So I don't know of any other kit right now that has that, and you may have to do that yourself. So while the valve seal press tool is printing, I'm going to go ahead and install the valve spring seats. These are very important. I lost these when I took the head to get washed, so FYI, keep these when you're taking them out. So I'm going to install them with this little pick here. So I definitely learned something. Thought I was going to be able to get away from using these valve seats for the valve stem seal. Well, the Felpro SS7289-1 don't work. They just do not fit down inside there and around those machine cuts. So that was a bust. I had to go back to Mazda. I had to order 16 more of the valve seats. I went with a Qual Cast on Rock Auto. There's a box of 25 of them for about $30. Now you're looking at a little bit more after shipping and handling, but now I have 25 of these, and I'm currently 3D printing the valve seat tool, so that way I can press them in with your valve removal tool that also you can 3D print as well. So I'm going to go ahead and install these, and as soon as the tool is done, well, 3D printed tool is done. Just a little tapered press tool, so that way I can get them inside there. So I'll go ahead and put these in there, and then just use this to press down on top to get them seated, and that's it. Now that all the valve seats are in and all the valves are in as well, we're going to put the springs back. But I did a slight alteration. Midwest Miata sells these Volvo B18 and B20 valves. They're the exact same size, but as you can see, they're much stiffer, allowing for a higher rev. So we'll install these and we'll see how that comes out. Now that I've gotten all the springs in place and the keepers, I've got a rag pressed up underneath here to hold the valves in place, and we'll insert our valve press tool in place and press those valves and the keepers into place. Now that the valve train assembly is in place, I'm going to go ahead and replace it with some brand new lifters as well from ITM. You can buy these from Treasure Coast Miata, or you can also find these on Rock Auto as well too. Alright, now that all the new lifters are in place, we'll go ahead and put the cams in. Alright, cams are in place, all torqued down. I usually do about 115. I don't like to do any more than that. Call me crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and set timing. So with setting timing, I always like to go ahead and put 2 crescent wrenches on there and get some vice grips or a clamp to hold them together. But I also like to notice that your cam on your intake, first piston, will be slightly tilted at level with the main cam. Your main keyway for your cam will be directly 90 degrees straight up. Same with the exhaust. And also notice slightly tilted up, not straight 90 degrees. Flying Miata makes a great timing keeping tool. I use it every single time. Highly recommend using it. So with that in place, we can go ahead and remove this. Don't have to worry about our timing changing position, and we can go ahead and take it out and install in the car. Alright, now the head's in the car. Go ahead and we'll do all the torque specs for the ERP head studs. We'll put the valve cover back on, reattach our lines, reattach the air intake, reattach the headers, and then put all our electrical harness back together, which there's only a few connections I believe for the ignition coil pack, and then we'll go ahead and fire her up after this. Alright, so everything is all tightened up. We just need to get some new spark plugs in place. After we flush the oil, got all the bad oil and possible metal shavings out of there. So now we'll get ready for fire up after the new spark plugs. Well, got it fired up, but seems like all that hard work for nothing. The bottom end was the problem all along. Really was hoping it was going to be the top end. So guess I'm gonna go ahead and just tear it all down and figure out exactly what's going on.